Hi, Fiona. I'm glad you're here
Hello.
today. Thanks for coming in. It's very brave to show up to your first therapy appointment. I'm really glad you're
Yeah,
here today.
thank you.
So, since this is the first one, let's go over a few things. I'm sure you read all the intake paperwork. I want to hit just a few highlights before we get started. One is privacy. Privacy is very important in therapy. It's kind of key here. The limitations of privacy fall where you're a danger to yourself or someone else, like an imminent danger to somebody. Otherwise, everything we say here is confidential. Everything you say will be held in confidence. So you can just take a deep breath. You're safe.
Okay.
Um, in relation to that, I will not friend you on social media. I will accept no friend requests as our company policy is. It's also a privacy matter because whoever's my friend on social media, if I accept a request, would be an automatic outing for you're in therapy with me. And that's just a thing that we're not going to let happen. And if I see you in public, I'm not going to wave. It's not because I don't like you and I don't see you, but I'm respecting your privacy. If you come say hi to me, we'll have a normal conversation, but I'm not going to wave at you and out you to all your friends that I know you from therapy. Okay? Sound
Okay.
good? Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So, I've read your intake paperwork, but I'd like to hear from you why you're here today.
Yeah, I just most days I feel so anxious and worried and I've been just taking care of my family so much, my siblings, and um really struggling in relationships. The guys that I'm with are just they're not good, or they just don't, they choose the wrong thing or the wrong habits, like um you know I- getting drunk most nights, or um and then they sometimes take their anger out on me, verbally, but just it's just really hard, and I don't know how to help my family and how to move forward in a positive way.
Okay. So, your family, who does that include? Who are we talking about?
Well, so I do have a dad and a mom, but they're not really in our life on a regular daily basis. I take care of my four siblings that are all younger than me. Um, and um, yeah, they all range in age. So, and then of course, then my youngest sister has just had a baby too. So there's an extra child in the house as well, and I'm just so concerned about them and wanting us all to have a good life together.
I hear you talk a lot about everyone else, but I don't hear you talk much about yourself. Like how do you feel? How do you manage all of this? What is it that you're trying to do?
Well, I want to be a support to them.
Mhm.
I want to be able to have my own goals and my own, like, moving forward, and maybe go back to school, or have my own business or something. But that just seems so difficult right now because of me needing to take care of everybody else. And it's hard to have enough money
Yeah.
um, to just pay for our life, and then in, like, mortgage and all that, or rent. And um yeah, I just see that it's just so difficult, and it just leaves me just feeling down or depressed or hopeless, really,
Yes.
on a daily
Mhm.
basis. Yeah.
So I hear you saying that you feel tied down and weighed down by the responsibilities of caring for your younger adult siblings and their children so that you don't feel able to pursue your own goals.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You seem to feel like maybe you're more of a support than a full person, Fiona.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't feel like I can be myself. And then on top of that, I just, dating the wrong guy is making that wrong choice. It's like I'm
Right.
making that decision in the moment to be with them, and um, I'm not able at the moment to see that I can do better. Like I feel like I could if I had the right
Mhm.
like money or support. But I
Mhm.
just don't, I feel like I'm the support for others instead.
Yeah. Think back, how has it always been this way, or was it ever not this way? Where you're the support for everyone around you, kind of the supporting character and not the main character in your own story?
I feel like I've been the main supporter for other people. I mean, way early on. I remember, in my younger than 10, I started to really care for my siblings because like just making sure that they had something to eat, making sure, they were we were going to school or, just doing
Mhm.
things because my parents, they were in the house, but they were not taking care of us. And I just remember specific moments that my dad was choosing, alcohol or drugs over us, and then
Mm.
not really being around. My mom, she's not mentally stable, so she would just leave and not take care of us, not be in the house at all. Um,
That's a
so
lot
yeah.
for a 10-year-old.
Hmm.
Goodness.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Um, I think it's just something that I started carrying earlier on and just didn't haven't really thought differently. Like this is just how it was going to be because I needed to take care of them.
Right. What would have happened if you didn't?
I don't know. I wonder if they would not have survived, or they um we would have been split up, I think. If there
Mm.
wasn't somebody who was in the house looking like things were kind of put together, then
Mhm.
we would have been split up maybe into foster care homes, and um I wanted to keep us together as a family.
Yeah, that's a lot to do for a 10-year-old. I'm glad you could keep everyone together. What would happen now if you stopped supporting everyone, that they're grown?
Well, I think now, a couple of them are, I think they might be old enough that they can really make their own decisions. And then, of course, my sister with my niece, I I think that they would be okay, that they could start to, look for their own jobs, and we could still live in the same house maybe, because we could all maybe contribute to living there
Mhm.
together. I still feel like I would want to make sure that they're all doing what they need to be doing. Like if one of them gets in trouble, then I just want to be available to support them.
What do you gain from that? What do you think?
Well, I guess just knowing that my family is still there, that
Yeah.
um yeah, just that they're there, and they have somebody to depend on.
So a sense of connection and
Yeah.
providing safety for
Hmm.
both directions, but being connected.
Hmm.
Yeah. There's value in that. And then you also mentioned choosing men that you would rather not choose, men
Oh
with
my goodness,
substance
yeah.
issues.
Hmm.
So that's a repeated situation. You're here in your late 20s.
Yeah, yeah, that's been happening a lot, and it just seems to play over and over like a cycle of just
Okay.
not, yeah, not ever feeling support from them. It's almost like I've taken on the role of caring for them as well. Like they're one of my siblings and I have to take care of them. And but I know that they're adult and they can do it on their own. Like they don't need me to be helping them.
I see that too. It seems like maybe you're replaying the same thing you learned when you were a kid. Like learned how to care for everybody
Hmm.
and put their needs first, and then you keep doing that. But in a romantic relationship, the if you only do that, it's hard to sustain if there's not give and take, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Can you describe the shape of these relationships? Like what happens? You say the same thing happens over and over. What happens, Fiona?
Well, um, we meet each other sometimes in a bar because when I'm supporting people and I'm just so stressed out, I just have to leave the house for a little bit and I just go to the neighborhood bar or something.
Yeah.
And so I just meet somebody there and then we just it gets pretty intimate right away and
Mhm.
then they just seem to kind of keep coming over and over, whether or not, I'm saying it's okay to be in our house all the time. And then they're drinking in our house or um, sometimes even bringing drugs in the house, which I don't like
Mhm.
because of the younger kids now, especially the baby being in the house.
Sure.
Um, and then when I bring something up that doesn't work that I feel like is not good, then they get mad at me. And when that situation happens so many times, then they end up just leaving and not being there anymore. And really, they haven't given any support in any way to our family. They just are taking. And um, yeah, I just want to be in a more, I don't know, what's the word? Like a mutual relationship instead of just them taking
Yeah.
from us. Yeah.
The way you mentioned that they're just there and they're not much contributing reminds me of what you said about some of your family, your parents earlier in your description.
Hmm.
How how they had children and were not home and you had to like clean up after them and how you take care of the choices that they made and they weren't there for you.
Hmm.
That sounds like what you just described in your romantic relationships. Does that ring true or am I off base here?
Yeah. Yeah. I, well, I mean, could it have been like our fault? Like our sibling, like me and my sibling? Like, is it because we, um, I don't know, because we were born with it was, maybe we were accidents and, um, they just kind of took it out on us or something. Like, I don't know. I do see a similar thing between the guys that I tend to get drawn to and my dad. That seems close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People tend to like learn a script when they're young and keep
Mm.
acting it out, especially hurtful scripts, trying to find a different ending.
Mm.
So you keep people sometimes do the same thing over and over again, trying to find end the story differently.
Okay.
You know?
So even when my dad's not around, I guess I don't know the end to that script. Like how does that cycle end?
You know? I think it starts with you learning to listen to what you need to kind of become a main character in your own story.
Hmm.
Maybe. That would be a big step
Okay.
and hard. Like we would this is
Yeah.
a long-term situation. I'm here with you. But maybe find out what Fiona wants and needs. I'm not saying walk away from your
Okay.
family. That's central to your life. That's
Right.
essential support. That's but maybe learn to listen to yourself a little bit. Does that sound like a doable
Okay.
kind of thing?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I have here your some of your paperwork.
Right.
The PHQ and the GAD-7, those are depression and anxiety symptoms, and you've mentioned that it's been very difficult lately. Um,
Mm.
and your scores indicate that you're having a hard time, that you're feeling really low. I thank you for filling this out. It's helpful to see where your symptoms kind of land, how they land on this
Mm.
on the scale. But I see that you worry a whole bunch and you have a hard time relaxing and that sort of thing. A way to start listening to yourself might be learning some new coping skills to relax
Mm.
and listen,
Okay.
um, to trust that your siblings will be okay long enough for you to do whatever you like to do, whether it's watch your favorite TV for 30 minutes or do a bit of watercolor or go on a walk, but just not even think about them for a minute.
Mm.
That might be a first
I,
step. Does that sound like maybe a thing we could think
yeah.
of?
I think I can. Yeah. I mean, I keep walking past this bookcase full of books that I'd want to read, and sometimes that becomes overwhelming because I feel guilt that I can't stop long enough to read a
No.
little bit. But
Mm.
maybe I can find one in there that I can just be able to sit down and relax, just for a little bit.
Just
And
set a
yeah.
timer,
Hmm.
like on your phone, set a timer and just set it beside you, and you're off the clock for a minute. That may be a good spot for you to start because you seem very overwhelmed. I can see it in the way you're presenting, and I hear that you're very heavy and you care for everyone and you feel passive, like things are out of control.
Yeah, they feel like out of control.
Yeah. Well, first steps are deep breaths.
Mm.
We can make more plans. You can make more plans. But first, we have to catch our breath. Okay. So, why do you think you came to therapy now? This sounds like a long-term program or problem, sorry. Why now?
Um, I think because I was noticing that my siblings are doing their own things, and I recognized that all I've been doing is family stuff, and that why can't I do my own things? Why can't I go out and look for my interests? Yeah,
Oh,
I think that's why. And knowing that this boyfriend situation is just awful and I don't want to be in it anymore.
mhm.
Yeah. I just want to change that part for sure.
All right. I think your boyfriend situation may be rooted in your family situation. Um,
Okay.
so we'll set that aside for a minute, if that's okay with you.
Hmm.
We'll focus in on learning to listen to what Fiona wants and what Fiona needs and how Fiona can draw some boundaries for yourself, um, around your own self and differentiate from your family a bit. Prioritize your needs.
Okay.
That sound good? Okay. So Fiona, our time is coming to a close. Um, what I would like for you to do before I see you next week is set a timer and just read for between 15 and 30 minutes and don't talk to anybody. Hide if you have to. Just have them leave you alone and carve out a little bit of space that's just yours. Just once. You can do
Okay.
it more if it goes well, but once is a success.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes. I can
So
do that.
glad you came. Good. I'm so glad you came. Thank you, Fiona.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Okay.
Okay. I think